What's up, Pisstown pals? This is District Sentinel Radio, the newscast of record for the left. I'm Sam Sachs.
I'm Sam Knight.
We're in that Sentinel Fort in Washington, D.C. Check out the website, districtsentinel.com. Happy October to everybody. Thanks for sticking around, staying a subscriber at the turn of the month. We appreciate you.
Looking forward to the autumn.
Yes, certainly.
What do you like about it?
About the autumn?
Yes.
The lack of heat. I don't do very well with the heat, so I appreciate that. Got Halloween coming up.
We do have Halloween.
It's always a fun
up.
holiday. Want to welcome everybody joining us after watching the Brewers beat the Cubs in the tiebreaker match this afternoon. Got the Dodgers playing later against the Rockies. See who can win that one. Anything else to address at the top here, Sam?
Not sure there is.
Well, I guess we can. Anybody chatting it up in the chat room?
Yeah, we have some chatting. We have Jason saying sup, piss pals. We have Stu saying, hey Jason, what are you up to? We have other stuff. We have hang on. Leo had an important business question. What geographical location should I say I'm with on Patreon so as to give the Sams the maximum tax benefit? Stu replies, Cyprus.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that question.
Also, Joseph says, sup, Sam Fam. Some people still using Sam Fam in light of Piss Down Pals. And I'm
looking at the camera feed here. We didn't plan this at all, but I noticed I'm wearing one of my lamest shirts that I own, this USA golf shirt, and you're wearing a Soviet Union soccer jersey.
I'm owning you.
You are owning me so hard right now. All right. Got some haikus to read in just a little bit. But first, it's Monday, October 1st, 2018. Here's the news.
Canada announced it would sign on to the U.S.-Mexico trade deal, making it now the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or USMCA. I think, by the way, they tried to do something cute to get the deal to have the same acronym as the U.S. Marine Corps.
Yeah, that's
is basically, in addition to Trump just wanting to change NAFTA because he doesn't like the brand, he's got to get a new brand for it. They somehow wanted to tie this to the Marine Corps, which I think is kind of gross. I mean, yeah, sure, U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, but I don't know. This name gives me the willies. Either way, President Trump this afternoon spiked the football in a press conference at the White House. Here he is looking forward to the congressional approval process.
Once approved by Congress, this new deal will be the most modern, up-to-date, and balanced trade agreement in the history of our country, with the most advanced protections for workers ever developed. If you look at the reviews, people that would normally not, under any circumstances, say good things, because automatically they have to say bad. Even some Democrats say that's amazing. We had some, they haven't been given the sound bites yet, I guess, Mike. But actually, you had some Democrats say this is really amazing if he really got all of that. But by tomorrow, I would suspect they'll change their tune, but that's okay.
It's one of those things where you wonder how he's going to get through that sentence, how he's going to get to the end of that thought.
Yeah, we had to end the clip somewhere. And sure enough, he goes on rambling right after that, but he stops just enough and rounds off his thought just enough so we could cut the clip there. So what is the takeaway from some of the people who would not, in under any circumstance, say good things about President Trump? Lori Wallach is a trade expert for the left-leaning Public Citizen. She's been on the show. You can check out her interview with us.
Yeah, just a few months ago.
Her preliminary take says some good things about Trump's deal. It also says some bad things, to use terminology that even the president can understand. The good, according to Wallach, investor-state dispute settlement panels are gone. Those are courts where only investors can sue governments. There are wage conditions in a trade deal for the first time. The New Deal scrapped terms that forced the opening of natural resources to investors. Also, rules of origin terms were tightened for goods with non-North American components. Now, the bad, there are no strong labor and environmental enforcement standards, despite what the president just said there. There is also no provision to allow governments to contract with domestic companies. Also, most worryingly, there are new intellectual property protections for pharmaceutical companies. Higher wages aren't really that great if they're suddenly swallowed by higher medicine prices. Now, when President Trump started taking questions from the press, many reporters wanted to shift gears and ask, naturally, questions about Brett Kavanaugh. Eventually, Trump did take those questions after he was bored of taking questions about trade.
And after he embarrassed himself in front of a reporter claiming that she doesn't ever think, created a really awkward moment in the press briefing.
That did indeed create a very awkward moment. So anyway, some of the inquiries on Kavanaugh focused on the judge's glaring credibility problems, as fact-checking after his erratic Senate testimony has demonstrated. One of his Yale classmates even came out to call bullshit on Kavanaugh's claims on excessive drinking. Here's the president struggling to answer one of those questions on whether Kavanaugh lied to the Senate Judiciary Committee about his drinking habits.
There are now concerns that he may have lied or mischaracterized his drinking while testifying. If they find that he did, do you think that bars him from being your Supreme Court nominee?
Well, I watched him. I was surprised at how vocal he was about the fact that he likes beer. And he's had a little bit of difficulty. I mean, he talked about things that happened when he drank. I mean, this is not a man that said that alcohol was that he was perfect with respect to alcohol. No, I thought he was actually, going back so many years, I thought he was excellent.
I thought he was excellent.
What hearing was he watching?
Yeah, Kavanaugh wasn't actually candid about his alcohol problems. He denied them.
That's the point.
That was the whole point of his I like beer shtick. And that's why the reporter was asking Trump the question right there. So anyway.
Yeah, if Kavanaugh had said that he had a problem, that would be open. That would sense that like he wasn't trying to lie the entire time. Instead, he did lie. I don't think Trump really watched the hearing.
I was wondering who this humble Brett Kavanaugh figure he was that the president was describing there. Jesus.
The confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh is still very much in doubt at this point. But the Supreme Court is back in business, kicking off its fall term with a case quite familiar to the Sentinel team. Longtime Sentinel heads probably know the story of the dusky gopher frog.
Dusky.
There he is right there for our viewers. An endangered species native to the wetlands of Louisiana. There are fewer than 100 of these little fuckers left out in the wild. The justices heard oral arguments on Monday in the case of Weyerhaeuser versus the U.S. Fish and Wild Service. Basically, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service designated the dusky gopher frog an endangered species and classified 1,500 acres of land as critical habitat for the frog. The land includes areas that the frogs currently don't reside on, but contain ponds that have historically been used by the gopher frog for breeding. One area, though, is owned by private development company Weyerhaeuser, which wants to build on the land, but can't due to the government designation. The company claims that it's missing out on $34 million in potential development of the land, and that the economic costs outweigh the benefits of conserving the frog, which is very much their opinion. Personally, I'd much rather save a gopher frog than some landowner, especially a corporate development firm. The good news, Weyerhaeuser has already lost twice in the lower courts. The bad news, the Supreme Court can't be trusted and almost always operates as an arm of big business.
The good news, though, is that because this was heard before Kavanaugh was confirmed, is that even if he does get confirmed, he can't take part in the decision. So it'll still be 4-4 if the liberals and conservatives split. and they defer to the lower court. So there's hope for our man, the Dusky Gopher.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping the Dusky Gopher Vrog's fate isn't a partisan issue, but like everything else is, I guess the big business side of it is very much. All right, time to take a quick break to read some poetry.
Watch all 4 liberal justices now vote to kill the Dusky Gopher Frog.
Fucking assholes. All right, to all new subscribers on Patreon, patreon.com/District Sentinel, get their own haiku written by the Sams, and we're going to read a few right now. This first one goes out to Will. Just ate a muffin. I did not eat the wrapper, unlike intern Nate.
Thank you, Will. This is for Case. Corner store spice rack. The bags of salty nut snacks. Cajun hot mix. Yes.
Thank you, Case. This one is for David. Reptiles and mammals often working together to kill the insects.
Thank you, David. This is for Matthew. Summer now ending. Say bye to the noble food, that fresh East Coast corn.
Thank you, Matthew. This one is for Derek. I'm the wire man. Need an HDMI cord? How about coaxial?
Thank you, Derek. The wire man, huh? Finally, this is
That's
for...
right. I'm the wire man.
Finally, this is for Patrick. Twitter suspension. 7 whole days. Way too harsh. Inject me with faves.
Thank you, Patrick. That's right. I forgot to say at the top of the show. Welcome back.
We did forget. That was the news we had to say at the top of the show.
That was the top news.
That's why we just...
Sam Knight is back on Twitter after a 7-day suspension.
How did we forget? We were just twiddling our thumbs about baseball.
Yeah. Thanks again to the subscribers. If you haven't heard your haiku yet, keep listening. I promise it is coming. There is now a second case proceeding through the courts, alleging that the president is violating the Constitution by keeping close ties to his business. Last Friday, U.S. District Judge Emmett Sullivan ruled that several U.S. lawmakers do have standing to sue President Trump for willfully violating the Emoluments Clause, which prohibits the president and certain other members of government from accepting foreign gifts or benefits or titles. The legal action was organized by Senator Richard Blumenthal and Congressman Gerald Nadler, who alleged that Trump's private business, the Trump Organization, is operating in violation of the Emoluments Clause. Upon assuming office, Trump handed operations of the business to his 2 dumb sons, but he has still maintained ownership and stands to benefit from the company's success. The company is in perpetual dealings with foreign investors, which should trigger emoluments considerations. Now, in the past, presidents have sought the approval of Congress before accepting things that could be construed as gifts from foreign governments. Obama, even in 2009, before accepting the Nobel Peace Prize, asked Congress. No such outreach has occurred under the Trump administration, which is why Judge Sullivan said lawmakers in this case do have standing. Quote, plaintiffs have no adequate legislative remedy, and this dispute is capable of resolution through the judicial process, Sullivan wrote. The judge added that if the lawmakers are correct, then, quote, the president is accepting prohibited foreign emoluments without asking and without receiving a favorable reply from Congress. I mentioned at the top that this is the second emoluments case moving through the court system. Another one advanced 2 months ago related exclusively to Trump's hotel in D.C., a place where foreign dignitaries regularly stay in order to curry favor with the administration.
Finally, President Obama issued another round of endorsements. Today, the ex-commander-in-chief threw his name behind a second list of midterm candidates. It's a very long list, so we can't get through every name on it. But the list includes some notable names, centrists like Kyrsten Sinema, running for Senate in Arizona. It also includes candidates on the left, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and been jealous. Now, Ocasio-Cortez doesn't need Obama's endorsement, and quite frankly, she probably shouldn't take it. But Jealous is running for governor of Maryland against a popular Republican incumbent in a state that Obama and Hillary Clinton both comfortably won. Jealous probably could have used the Obama endorsement months ago, with the election just 4 weeks away now, but better late than never, I guess. People thought Obama might not endorse Jealous at all because of his support for Bernie Sanders in 2016.
He was waiting for Jealous to proclaim that he's a, what was it, investment bank? What did Jealous?
A venture capitalist.
That's what Obama was waiting for. Yeah,
that is the exact shit that Obama does crave. In other election news for Democrats, their bid to retake the Senate in November could take an unexpected turn. New Jersey Dem Bob Menendez is running neck and neck with his no-name Republican challenger, Bob Huggin. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that right, quite frankly, but I'm sure we'll get familiar with him over the next few weeks as Election Day nears. Either way, a Stockton University poll shows that Menendez is currently beating Huggin just 45 to 43. That's within the margin of error.
That's not a good sign.
As NJ.com pointed out today, Republicans haven't won a U.S. Senate seat in the Garden State since 1972. Registered Democrats outnumber registered Republicans in New Jersey 2-1. Earlier this year, federal prosecutors dropped corruption charges against Menendez. A trial against the senator ended last fall with a hung jury. This would be so like Democrats if they failed to take back the Senate because they lost New Jersey. Because they didn't pressure a sleazy shit like Menendez to retire. I mean, his foreign policy bullshit is already bad enough, like without the corruption charges. But you have everything on top, and you got to ask yourselves, does Bob Menendez deserve to win in November?
Absolutely not. And this isn't something that just got sprung on the Democrats either. This is something that's been years in the making, the charges, the trial. The Democrats could have ditched him a long time ago. And now, as you said, he could threaten their majority in the Senate.
Wow. Nice one, Bobby. Nice one, Democrats.
All right, that is going to do it for the newscast today. We'll check out what's going on in the chat room here in just a second. But I do see that we have a call on the rant line to get to. Let's check it out.
Hey, guys. It's Keister. Just calling to see how y'all are doing. Oh, just kidding. It's me, Mitch McConnell, bitch. Ha, 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 Big Daddy Turtle. Got you. I bet you thought, I bet you guys thought it was your fucking best buddy, Keister, calling. But, wrong. It's your number one fan, Big Daddy Turtle. And I am holding in my hands right now 2 freshly cut Big Axle. Woo! Hey, boys, listen, just wanted to call in and say to the gentleman who left a message telling me to F me, I just wanted to say, F me, F you. All right, boys, I'll catch y'all on the flip. Big Daddy Turtle out, suck a big one.
I hadn't heard from Mitch in a while. Thought he had stopped listening to the show. Guess not.
I guess he found time. He found time off from covering up sex crimes to call into the show.
Yeah. I just
took time off from covering up a sexual assault. From covering up a sexual assault. Okay, you get the joke.
I get the joke.
It's fucked up. It's not a. I shouldn't be making.
What are the viewers saying?
Anyway, the viewers, Joseph says studio name Piss Palace.
The Piss Palace.
The Piss Palace.
Hey, we'll be happy to name it the Piss Palace.
If you pay us,
if you can get the viewers to pull together $200 a month to get a new subscription, up the subscription, we'll call this the Piss Palace.
That's right. It is the Sentinel Fort, but for just $200 small dollars. For 200 tiny amounts of dollars per month, you can name this studio.
The Piss Palace.
Whatever you want.
And-
well, not whatever you want, but we will definitely accept the Piss Palace.
Yeah, we'll accept the Piss Palace. If you want to make like artwork or a sign that says Piss Palace, we'll put it up right here too.
Well,
So-
maybe for $250 we'll put up the sign. Well, we'll get back to you on the sign.
Oh, also, if you've sent us something in the mail, I haven't checked it in a few weeks, but I'm going to go in a few days and check the mailbox. So, P.O. Box 43106, Washington, D.C. 20010.
Oh, Jason was also had a comment about the administration, the figures standing behind Trump during that press conference. He says that whole crew looked washed. And then Dub15 said, was that sex-having Steve Mnuchin back there with the cool lenses?
Yeah, it was him.
With the transition lenses. Sex-having Steve with his transition lenses, which definitely something that most sex-havers own.
Definitely.
Transition lenses.
Definitely. One day, I mean, I wouldn't mind transition lenses. They seem easier than everything, but, you know, I have a sex retirement looming, so got to consider my fashion eyewear. All right, that's the show. Call the rant line 202-684-6108. Sponsors include the Congressional Dish podcast hosted by Jen Briney. Find it at congressionaldish.com. Another sponsor, levelnews.org. The newscast is back tomorrow. We're here in D.C., so you don't have to be.